action.
It's the America podcast.
The American podcast. That's right. American manufacturing right to your computer screen. And this is the upstairs of the Tangible Solutions bunker. So we're one level up. And you can see out over the floor, got the American flag up. Cool story. Actually, when we moved into this facility, there was an old desk and there was a drawer. Desks usually have drawers. As we went through it, we found this American flag here, which you can see it's a little tattered, but I don't know, it's kind of cool. It kind of tells the story a little bit. And now we've brought it out and hanging it up again, allowing it to get its wondrous glory again. Hopefully some of the wrinkles will be fizzled out by the next week. But hope you're all doing well. It is Friday here at Tangible Solutions. We're excited to be back on the podcast, talking about what we had going this week, what we're seeing. Some of our customers are getting back into the swing of things a little bit, ever so slowly. People are making it back into the office, realizing, oh yeah, we've got work to do, and they're reaching out. So starting to see some activity. Like we've talked about, a lot of the OEMs are seeing the slowdown. An interesting comment I had from one of our customers was that the whole process, the whole pipeline of patients getting in to see their doctors for the first time, go through the many steps that are necessary prior to going into surgery, because that's obviously a last resort type of situation with getting an implant or something like that. And if you think about the whole spectrum of a patient getting to a surgery has been slowed down. So I think, to me, and I don't know how you feel, I think this is going to play a factor over the next 2 quarters. I think things are going to get ramped up, but it's going to be a little slower. We were off to a great start. I believe everyone seemed like they were off to a great start. That first quarter was dominant, and I think that just signs of the economy and signs of companies doing well, particularly within this industry. You got a lot of baby boomers that need implants, and they're kind of walking through that scenario right now. So there's a combination of factors of why orthopedics has done so well and will continue to do well for the next couple of years, barring any more pandemics. But I thought that was interesting, because that's going to slow down not just us, but slow down just the whole industry in general. So we'll see how things change and move into the future. So,
yeah, I was on the phone this morning with everyone, felt like. But had a few customers come back out of the woodwork and say, new product development back on. So one customer in particular was held up for about 3 weeks, they said, with no elective surgeries. And then last week they had 50, which is pretty normal for them. Mm-hmm. So they said that they're seeing things kind of return in that part of the country. And there are some parts of the country that were less affected that turned elective surgeries back on sooner than now. But
seems like the middle of America seems to be
like the West, with the exception of like Washington and California, where everybody's nice and spread out. They were less affected. So seen a lot more elective surgeries going on. New product development, so the furloughs are being like lifted as well on those like development teams. So everybody's kind of excited to get back to work, get back to things as usual.
Yep, absolutely.
So prototyping's going to kick back up.
So with prototyping this week, really over the last couple of weeks, when customers have been coming in with a prototype, new or existing customers, there's what's kind of their expectation? What's I don't know if expectation is the right thing, but seems to be a little off. I mean, I think sometimes not everyone's ready. They want a prototype, they have a design, they have a device, and where we are set up to help them through the entire process. What are the folks that have had the most success? What are they coming to us prepared to discuss? Are there certain aspects which enables success a little faster when we're getting through the prototyping, the validation, and getting into that? Comment on that a little bit here, because you work mostly with our customers who are doing their prototyping and.
So engineering teams, I think there are varying levels of success, and when you say the word success, like defining that helps. So I think if you define it by speed to clearance, then the successful organizations and engineering teams are coming at us with a ton of information. Information classified as like design. Okay. So they have their models defined. They know their bill of materials. They know all the sizes or roundabout. Okay. They know that, their clearance pathway. They've identified all of these things really before even lifting the first finger on the engineering side. They're saying what we need to accomplish.
So it's almost as if they've planned far ahead enough to know their time.
Yeah, so they've taken care of all of the project planning things too. So they come at us with project plans, schedules, milestone dates is a big thing to drive toward.
That seems to be a reoccurring theme. To have that, just the overall, hey, here's when we'd like to clear, then we can walk that back and say, all right, well, here's what we are going to need, and here's what we need you.
The companies with the shortest time to market already have done the math, like the calendar math, on the project plan. So they have a Gantt chart, they have milestones, they have, before they've even generated a design. So they say, we've already accomplished these milestones because we're coming to you with a design for this milestone of like getting the first prototype.
Right.
So having that plan and being able to drive into that, and then also communicating that plan to us allows us to frame and schedule intelligently on the shop floor so we know what to expect. So if they're holding to their schedule, we can hold to our schedule. Right. But if things are delayed, they come in later than normal.
There's no actual date to it.
We may have more going on at that point, whereas we may say, hey, at the beginning of next quarter, when you plan to run your V&V test parts, we are projecting, our forecast says we're going to be lower on the production floor than like maximum. So we expect our schedules to be a little more open. We can turn your V&V parts in 5 weeks or 4 weeks, something like that, like pretty quick. But if it slides by a month, then we may expect or have forecasted a lot more than that the next month.
Right.
So now we are looking at 6 weeks, 8 weeks for V&V parts.
Right.
So now that pushes their timeline out. So them sliding didn't just slide the Gantt chart, the extra month that they took on the product development design side, it slid a month plus 2 weeks or a month plus 4 weeks because we had more going on the shop floor
so it's much more impactful, especially when you start working with your contract manufacturer, whoever that may be. I mean, dates shouldn't be secret information. If anything,
well, it's like
come at us with that first.
Communication is the number one tool, like for the level of success that you're talking about. So like on time to market is like what I would define another, like call it a success. Right. So, a lot of times, I wonder what percentage out there of projects actually make it to market on time.
I think we did a survey on that, like last year, just because people would come at us with numbers like, I want to be cleared on market in 6 months. Like that's great. But odds are they're just not there, or 6 months maybe as you focus on the project, but over the course of 15, because the average was actually 3 months over. The question was, what did you anticipate for clearing the device? And there was options 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 15. And then what did you actually come in at? And a lot of people estimated 9 months and then came in at 15 months. That's what they finished at. And I think when you're working with an organization like a contract manufacturer, you can do a lot of things that are speed, get you to move faster, but you're not working internally to your organization. And so you have to really communicate what your expectations are. And we do as well. I mean, we have to communicate what we expect to get in return to be able to move the project forward and to have it as a success. I mean, we got a lot of skin in the game too. We want to get these products cleared, and we want to make sure that they're able to get to market and able to do the great things that they want to do with their patients and continue to drive their business. I mean, their success is our success in reality.
Yeah.
Hashtag. Your success, hashtag your success is our success. That's a long hashtag. I don't know if you'll see that one. I think they have to be 1 word, 2 words. Maybe.
No, you can write it out as long as you want, but like the shorter,
like the concise ones, hashtags.
The concise ones are the ones that you see like very popular.
They're pretty.
Yeah,
no, I'm prettier. So, anyways, anything else going on this week? It's kind of been a little bit slower of a week as we start to wind back up a little bit. I've done a lot of process improvement, just really taking some time to be able to go after some of the smaller, lower hanging fruit around the facility that we've been wanting to take care of. We've been able to tackle those items. Anything stand out in particular?
Yeah, I mean, if by slower week, you mean some guys in quality working till 5:30 in the morning to get a launch out. Then,
yeah.
That's a slow week.
24/7.
That was a toughie of a day, but we made it. Yeah, day and a half. Yeah. We made it. It's the end of the week. We'll do it again next week if we have to.
Well, you know what I liked when we were talking to Garrett and Jim after that long run of inspection parts is Garrett said, whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever it takes is one of our core values. And it was a full team effort. And it was really neat to see everyone come together, get the parts out, get them up, and to see our employees really buy into whatever it takes. I think it's really amazing. It's great to build core values that people stick to
mm-hmm. and
repeat out loud when that's something that they were thinking about in their mind while working till 5 o'clock in the morning to get parts out the door. It's when you create it as the owners or as the entrepreneurs and you push that down, I think a lot of people look at core values and think, oh, this is so cheesy. And even admittedly, I did at first, kind of thought this is a little cheesy.
Yeah.
But it gave us a tone to drive to. It gave us a reason, customer first, that's another one of our core values. And it's very easy to go back to that when we see a little bit of distraction. We can simply ask the question, is this putting the customer first in this activity? And
that was one of our mentors taught us that this lesson of the core
mm-hmm.
values. He even said it sounds cheesy, but it answers questions for people.
It does.
Without you having to be present at all times, 100% of the time, because you can't possibly be there all the time.
Right.
So what does that basically what things do you need to, small phrases do you need to coin to tell people to do the right thing,
right,
when they can't just ask you a direct question of what should I do?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that we're driving that home. I mean, I told 50 stories to those guys while we were here, and they're tired or taking breaks and or pumping caffeine. I'm like, you want me to brew coffee? It's
mm-hmm.
midnight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you want me to brew some coffee? I'll brew coffee.
Dinner.
I'll go get stuff.
Yeah.
I'll go get food. What do you want?
Yeah.
And just making sure that everything else is taken care of to carry out the mission. And
it's kind of cool to walk by the break room. You ordered them pizza, and they came off, ate pizza, didn't have to worry about anything,
mm-hmm.
and they went back. I think that's a good sign of leadership, getting out there, taking care of people so they can do their job. Sometimes it's should you be spending time ordering pizza? Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you can tell they care about the customer as well as downstream down to the patient. In this particular instance, we are rushing to meet a demand for parts in the field by the case date or surgery date. People say cases and surgeries basically interchangeably in med device. So there are already surgeries scheduled for these devices, and they're very special to hit the market. And we have experienced, with the team, the feeling of, if we don't make this,
mm-hmm.
then the patient's surgery is going to be pushed.
Yeah.
And that's the worst possible thing that could happen. So,
patient will suffer.
Yeah, for longer.
Yeah.
And it would be our fault.
Yeah, they're putting trust in the entire healthcare
mm-hmm.
system.
Mm-hmm.
And we are a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's our focus. We want to serve that It's a passion of ours. We have a lot of former athletes and OEM.
Yeah, I mean,
people
we're
from OEM.
delaying revenue for our customer as well. That's a negative impact.
Yep.
Delaying revenue for the hospitals as well, though that's like a secondary, comes secondary or tertiary to patient health. It's still delaying revenue there, and then patient health overall is, being delayed.
That's what we're in the business for. Everyone's in the business.
It has to weigh heavy
for the OEMs to improve patient lives, and we have our role in that, and we take it very serious. And everyone else here takes it just as serious as well.
It's pretty awesome. Gives you purpose.
It really does. Think back to the first implant that was done, and the customer sent a picture of the X-rays, and
allegedly,
and that it was just neat to see our parts in the human body that we had all put our hands on and gotten that order out, and they were able to continue on and just know that somebody had received an implant that came out of Tangible Solutions to our customer for them to be able to provide, a pain-free life for them, So pretty powerful when you think of it that way. But anyways, all right. Well, it's Friday, and I don't have anything left to say.
I don't think so.
I think we've had a great week here. I'm really proud of everyone that put in all the extra hours to make sure that we got the parts out the door.
Jim, Garrett, Tyler, Josh.
Kudos to all y'all. So awesome. All right. Well, if you have any questions, leave them below. We'd love to answer them. We want to be able to answer orthopedic specific questions as it relates to our craft here at Tangible Solutions, which is 3D printing titanium orthopedic implants, and being the best at that. So all you guys have a great weekend, and we will talk to you soon.
See you.